Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We will call our meeting for Thursday, November 16th to order at 9:04 a.m. this morning. Thank you for joining us. In the true spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge all those who call this land home now and for thousands of years in the past. May we respect each other and find understanding together and recognize the benefits that this land provides to all of us. We do have a relatively short agenda again today, so we do have time for some discussion. I have a couple introductions before we start. First off, I would like to welcome Kira Baranier, our People and Culture Special Projects Consultant, and also Heath Wright, our Regional Manager of Safety and Emergency Services. Welcome to the county. There's a mic right there if you'd like to step forward and say a few words.
I'm good for right now. You'll probably hear from me in the future. But thank you. I think I've met a few of you already, and I've worked with you in the past, but I'm very excited for the opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, like I say, thank you both for joining the county, and excited to get to work with both of you. Thank you. We don't have any time commitments today on our agenda, so with that, I would entertain an adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions? Mark?
Move to adopt the agenda presented today.
Thank you, Mark. Mark has moved to adopt the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Adoption of the minutes. You have the minutes for the November 2nd County Council meeting before you. Are there any errors, omissions, any issues arising from the minutes? If not, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Morning, Morris. Thank you, John. John has moved for the adoption of the County Council meeting minutes November 2nd, 2023. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Morning, Morris. We can move in our agendas to D, Department Reports, D1, Municipal Development and Infrastructure, D1.1, Bylaw 23-025 to redesignate Plan 23-11841, Block 1, Lot 4, in the Southeast 27-720 West 4, from rural agriculture to rural general industrial. First reading. With that, I will throw to our Supervisor of Planning and Development, Hillary Jansen. Good morning, Hillary.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I wasn't quite prepared. That went really fast. Anyways, with regards to this first bylaw, or a bylaw for your consideration for first reading, Bylaw 23-025 is located in the Southeast 27-720 west of the 4th, as mentioned by Reeve, and it is adjacent to the existing Transmark facility along Highway 4 and Township Road 7-4. As you can see from the map, it's part of a quarter section, about 126 acres in size. The Transmark Group has put in this application as they have recently purchased this property, and they wish to look forward to some expansion of their existing operations and possibly have some other development in there that would be compatible with what their current uses are with regards to the rail and the proximity to the highway. So they are requesting that that the property be redesignated from rural agriculture to rural general industrial to meet those particular needs. I should have had the map on here so you could see what the zoning was. Here we go. So as you can see just from the map on the screen there, their existing Transmark facility is that purple color, which is rural general industrial right now. Also the UFA site, which is located just directly or to the west, is also designated rural general industrial, which was done a number of years ago. And then in between that is the Viterra grain handling facility. There has been some improvements on that site also, just council may have seen as they've been drove by, that they have done a loop track on the Viterra site. So this whole area is pretty much dedicated towards rail and rail related uses. And so with that, as this is just for first reading, I will bring a report back for the public hearing, which will detail out the planning comments and any comments we received from the adjacent landowners and the external agencies such as Alberta Transportation and CP Rail if they have any comments. And but with that, I would just recommend that first reading of Bylaw 23-025 be read a first time.
Thank you, Hillary. I would open it up to council for any questions at this time. If not, Claus?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just for clarification, this is dry land property, right?
That's correct, yeah. There's no irrigation on here.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a question, Hillary. Outside the little purple area there, is that not part of Transmark?
This area right here,
No, a little, like, right, just a little right there.
this section,
No. No. Yeah, where they're, just below it where it says 74075. Yeah, right, there's some buildings there.
Yep.
Or-
that's
No,
all
not in the
Transmark.
purple.
Get a stool, Lauren.
Right. Straight above your arrow. Right, just a little down.
Well, there's buildings right there, the white
There's some
buildings.
buildings there, right there.
Oh, I will zoom in. No, there's no buildings in that particular location, Councillor Hickey. It's just some stockpiles. And it's a low spot on the
So where's their
property.
office then?
The office for Transmark is, let me get my- it's right in here.
Okay. You got a way better picture.
Yeah, I'm just good at that.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry for that.
When do you have to leave here?
Any other questions for Hillary? If not, you do have a recommendation for first reading before you. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that bylaw 23-025 be read a first time.
Thank you, John. John has moved a recommendation that bylaw 23-025 be read for a first time. Is there any further discussion? If not, I'll call a question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Move down on our agendas, D2, Public Operations, D2.1, Appointment of Agricultural Service Board Chair. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Good morning, Council. So as part of our organizational meeting, a portion that was not covered off on was the appointment of the ASB chair. It was felt that this should go to the actual committee itself. So the formation of the ASB committee is comprised of 4 members of council and 3 members at large. During our most recent meeting here, the nominee for the ASB chair was to be Klaus Vanderveen. And that was a unanimous decision from the members that were actually in attendance for the ASB committee, as well as they had nominated a vice chair at that time as well. So what I have before you today as just essentially a finalization of the organizational meeting is to have council formally appoint Klaus Vanderveen, Councillor Klaus Vanderveen, as the ASB chair.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'd open it up to any members of the ASB committee. Is there anything that you'd like to add to that? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Because Councillor Vanderveen was not present at the meeting, I think that it would be prudent or appropriate for him to chime in whether he actually wants to accept that. Because we kind of voluntold him.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Vice Chairman. Yes, I will gladly let my name stand for Chair of the Agriculture Service Board.
Thank you, Klaus. John? Oh, sorry. Eric, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that Councillor Klaus Vanderveen be appointed as the ASB Board Chair for the 2023-24 year.
Thank you, Eric. Eric has moved the recommendation that County Council appoint Councillor Klaus Vanderveen as the Agricultural Service Board Chair for the 23-24 year. Is there any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Jeremy. Congratulations, Mr. Chair. D3, Administration, D3.1, FCM Conference. CAO Beck. Morning, Cole.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in one of our previous council meetings, we had discussed the FCM conference attendance as well as our FCM costs and registration. And so I did want to follow up. We pay $2,687.34 annually to be a member of FCM. This does not include our costs of attendance of conference. That is purely a membership fee. As part of the membership, there's some communication, with items that are affecting municipalities federally. And then last week at RMA, it came up again just from a few councillors around the value of the conference itself and the conference material. I think that both Alberta municipalities proved very beneficial for us because of the strategic partners that we have, the small urbans that were there, the correspondence that we were able to accomplish and the meetings we were able to have at that forum, as well as RMA. But Alberta municipalities as a conference agenda was far less relatable to a rural municipality. So it was brought up again because we have had some challenges with hotel bookings and everything else, knowing that FCM is in Calgary, just around how meaningful the conference is, how council feels about attending, and to ultimately make a decision on who and if we will attend the FCM conference this upcoming year for 2024. And so we wanted just to put that forward for consideration and have some discussion on who wants to attend.
Thank you. I'd open it up to council for any discussion, like CEO Beck said, and I think there's been some ongoing discussion around what
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I think seeing as it is in Calgary, I believe that travel costs would be considerably lower. I do believe there is value in going, and I don't necessarily mean it by attending some of the stuff, but you get to talk to a great variety of people, and you learn a lot more than you do in some of the sessions they have, I think. And FCM is trying to make more rural than urban effort, but it's pretty tough when you have places like Toronto and Vancouver who dominate things pretty much. So I believe the value is still there to go, but I don't know that everybody needs to go. I think in the past we did send people on a kind of a rotation type basis. I mean, I would be comfortable in recommending to do that again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we talked about this last year when it was in Toronto, and then the costs of that were, ridiculous. I think when we first came on council, the suggestion was that, it's good to go once, so you at least are exposed to it, you understand what FCM is all about. So I get that. The fact that it's in Calgary, it's not going to get any closer than that. We'll still be up against some hotels and, for a cost for that. But I think, last year there's two of us that were going to go, but decided just based on the cost it wasn't worth it. So this year, if we, if wanted to attend, I think that would be fine. Like you say, if it's valued, that's what my question was going to be to those of you that had been there. Is it worth going? Because just the fact that the small urban or rural's thrown into that mix with the whole national group, it's a bit of a challenge, but you still have that networking. So, and I think we need to keep promoting the rural side of things and the importance of it. So that'd be good. So I'd support that.
Thanks, Mark. Klaus?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I kind of concur with the two speakers. I had the pleasure to attend in Halifax, and that was, I think, 2018. It was, I thought it was well worthwhile going there because it was kind of smaller. It wasn't in a different area. I think I got quite a bit out of it there, and I think that we should probably have our contacts with the urbans, and maybe in a different way, but I don't think we all have to go. And I think since we have it in Calgary, I think we should have maybe a couple of us go. But other than that, I think the idea was always that we could maybe connect with MPs, but you could probably put that out of your head because I mean, in all the big cities, you're going to have the contact and have the appointments with the MPs. So it's probably going to be a no-brainer that we would not get anything done out there that way. But just to connect with the urban stuff like that, I think it's we got to stay connected with them. That's just the bottom line because we have to deal with them on a regular basis with our local ones around here.
Thanks, Klaus. Anyone else? Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've attended one in Regina, and I would sort of echo some of the other statements. It is very much urban-centric, but the value in it is more outside of the breakout sessions in connecting with with other municipalities and creating some allegiance and some alliances there, but very much like Alberta municipalities, I don't think it would warrant us as a group, all 7 of us, going. With the one codicil, because it is in Calgary, it's not going to get any closer to us in any time. So if there was people that wanted to experience it, it is, we'd be having a lot less travel time, and I think from a hotel standpoint and accommodations, Calgary's probably going to be one of the most cost-effective ones. But I honestly, I still don't see value in all of us going.
Thanks, John. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. There's no sense in all of us going. I think at this point, there's just 2 of us that have never been. The old guy and the young guy in the room, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, so I'd be willing to to attend on behalf of the council. But like I say, there's no need in all of us going. I think just to attend once. And Eric and I've talked about this. I think too. It brings value. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All I was going to recommend was that with the challenges we're having securing rooms right now, if we could find out who today is going to attend and needs to attend, we'll make sure that those arrangements are made.
Maybe first, if I could, I think we've talked largely to this point about council. I think just in the conversation we had in Edmonton around similar, just knowing the commitments that the CAO has with a couple times RMA, CAMA, some other events throughout the year, like there's an opportunity for the CAO to be away north of 25 nights a year essentially with this kind of stuff. And so my thought, and I think that for this, I think it would be adequate if we were to send 2 members of council and just 2 members of council. I don't think that we need to send the CAO to FCM. That would be my thoughts. Just trying to be respectful of their time, the value that their time is in being in the office, being here, and not being away. I don't think they couldn't obviously execute that and keep things, aligned while away. But I would want to take that into consideration as well when we're talking about who we're sending. I think 2 members of council, just from my previous experience. I'm lucky that I got to go twice. I was able to attend in Quebec City and Regina. I think to Lauren's point, I think the sessions themselves weren't where the value that I saw. I did see some value in some of the networking and having those other discussions, much like our time at Alberta municipalities. So if that, it sounds like the will of the group is to send at least a couple members. I wouldn't oppose that. And yeah, but I would be in favor of giving the CAO that autonomy to make that decision if they chose to go or not. Eric, and then I think Morris, and then Lauren.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good point on the CAO. I had that written down. So that's covered. And then also same for Reeve as well. Like, is there any extra value, especially if we're not meeting with any dignitaries of any sort? I still, yeah, how many total events does a counselor get value out of attending? Like we say, we make good connections, but really what are our connections? Yes, it drives everything, but what is a connection worth? What are we getting for this? Yeah, met this great guy from Vancouver, does this and that. And then, now what? Draw that back to home. What do we have? So, yeah, I do agree. It's probably our cheapest bang for a buck if somebody wants to attend. We have our annual cost of membership, then we have our cost of actually the conference and all the things associated with it. I think once you load that all the way out, we're gonna have a pretty surprisingly different number of what the true cost to us is. So, and then tying that into total conferences attending also in a year, I think we could also have some part of that discussion as well. Total attendance, what's with 2 RMAs? If we're doing it for connections, well, we have a chance to do that once a year as well. AM it bore fruit to a good extent, so there it's pretty easy to draw back. But full roster attendance of things is it's a hard no, and yeah, even the future of not attending FCM, I don't see harm in that either.
Thanks, Eric. Morris, did you have something?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, a lot of good points were brought up, and it's some years back that we decided as a council then already that we only send a few, and I think it was 2 and 2, and then the next time 3, if people were willing to go. But yeah, we cut way back, quite a few years back already. And Lauren probably remembers what year it is. I don't. But no, good points were brought up.
Thanks, Morris. Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm thinking about the CEO's role, and there is a little get-together before FCM of all CEOs, and that might have more value than actually going to FCM. I can't remember what it's called, though. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm actually registered to attend CAMA for the 3
that's
days
it,
leading, and I see a lot. I have not attended, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what I will get out of that, but out of the tools and the information that CAMA offers, I see a lot of value, and I have some high expectations of that forum. So I would like to attend CAMA, but I appreciate Reeve Campbell's comments as well, where I think I can accomplish and get the mileage out of attending AM or RMA that value for dollar for me to attend FCM. If unless council wants me there, I just don't think I need to be there.
Yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
Yep, thank you again. So yeah, I know lots of managers who do not go to FCM. They go to the other over it because there's no value for them when you get lost in the crowd. There's nothing there. Because same thing. But anyway, and just to comment on RMA and things, I think if we don't attend it, it's a mistake. I think it's very important to attend. If you personally choose not to attend, I think that's your choice, but I see the value in going to those conferences, and same with Ag Service Board.
Thanks, Lauren. Good, Klaus.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So with the discussion that went on here, my suggestion would be that we send the councillors to Calgary for the FCM that haven't never gone before, so that would probably be Mark and Eric. And then I would say, and then it's up to the CEO's discretion himself. We think there's value to it, but I would like to have this discussion after these 2 people come back. Then everybody has been. So I think I'd like to have the discussion again next year, maybe a little bit earlier that, with the, if we do decide to send anybody for the registration purposes, yeah.
Councillor Sayers has kind of shown interest. I would, open it up to you, Councillor Van Essen. I don't want to voluntold you either. It's,
This is what you're doing and do it. If I understand the dates right, it's June 6 to 9?
You won't come home until the 10th though, because FCM holds their banquet on Sunday evening.
Okay.
So that's their main thing, and it'll happen on the evening of the night, so you won't check over to the 10th.
Okay. Put it this way, I think we should hold 2 spots, whether it's me directly or a fill-in. I can probably know that soon.
How long do you have to think about it?
Gotta talk to my parole officer.
Candace, go ahead.
So I currently have 3 rooms set aside at a sister hotel. The Telus Convention Center or FCM currently has the Hyatt completely blocked off for FCM, but they're not opening the room blocks. Well, first they told me it was November 1st, but it wasn't. Now they're telling me mid-January, so we won't be able to get rooms in the actual hotel that FCM has set aside for the conference until mid-January. Those rooms will go extremely fast. When it opens, they'll be gone within half hour. So I'm gonna keep the rooms at the sister hotel for now. It's a block or 2 away. I'll do my best to get us rooms at the Hyatt once they open.
Okay. John?
Hey, Mr. Chair. So if we book the reservations in Eric and Mark's name, we're able to change those names?
Yes, currently they're all in my name.
Okay, yeah.
We and me are going to FCM.
Okay, and I had one other comment for Councillor Van Essen, and appreciating your reluctance on this, but I think that there probably is some importance to actually experience it and then form an opinion based on your experience when you're there, as opposed to form an opinion on something that you haven't experienced.
So I'm hearing a consensus. We're comfortable with 2. I think we'll have a rough idea at least on who the 2 will be, but again, leaving that, we don't have to nail that down. So is there an appetite to make a motion to that effect? Plus?
You can turn my suggestion into a motion.
Okay. So we'll say the clause is moved to send 2 counselors to the FCM conference in Calgary in June. Is there any further discussion? If not, I'll call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you for the discussion. D4. Thanks, Cole. D4, corporate services. D4.1, the 2023 tax auction reserve bid and condition of sale. With that, we have our Director of Corporate Services, Jennifer Place. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So before you is a report with regards to setting some reserve bid amounts and conditions for sale on 4 properties that are up for tax sale. I'm going to have Mr. Teely come and bring it up on the GIS because I know you'll ask and I can't run it. So he's going to take care of that for you. So we've attached a list of the properties that are up for tax sale. They include the reserve bid and conditions in terms of sale, which are cash. The reserve bid is determined by the assessor as close as reasonably possible to current market value of the parcel and as per the legislative requirements within the Municipal Government Act. So there's 4 properties there. I'll just have Mr. Teely bring them up. The first one, the reserve bid is at $800,000, 2 at $170,000, and 1 at $350,000. The purpose, of course, is that in order to comply with the Municipal Government Act, Council has to approve these bids and condition sales. The tax sale is scheduled to take place on December 1st, should these parcels' outstanding taxes not be paid prior to that. It has been quite some time since a property sale has actually had to happen, or since the municipality the county has taken over a parcel for not being paid. So if there's a mortgage, generally speaking, the bank will come forward, and in some occasions, the individuals who have the outstanding tax. So We're hopeful, of course, that the taxes do get covered, because we don't want to be selling properties, but it does happen. So each of the registered owners on these properties have received a letter notifying them that the property was placed on tax notification with land titles in the past year. They also continue to receive their annual tax notices and late payment reminders. So they have been made aware that the property was listed on tax notification. And advertisements for the tax sale were placed in the Alberta Gazette and in the Sunny South News. All of the sale proceeds from the tax sale for each property will first go towards any outstanding tax arrears balances, any lawful expenses that the county may have incurred due to the tax sale, and any remediation costs if there were any involved as well. The county can apply a 5% administrative fee if we choose to do so. And the combined outstanding balance of all of the 4 properties listed is $18,407.68. So I'll just let Devin show you where the 4 parcels are. I believe they're Riverbrink, Shaughnessy, Diamond City, and
a parcel just west of McCain. So the first one here is in Riverbrink Estates. You can kind of see where my mouse is hovering. That's the first one you see on the table there. The next one is in Shaughnessy. I can show you where that one is. So I believe it's hard to tell. I believe it's this parcel. We'll pull up. Oh. Yeah, I believe it's. Does that look right?
can you bring up the
416?
tax roll? Does it show on there?
Doing this. I'm pretty sure it's this parcel right here in Shaughnessy. The next one's in Diamond City. So a little parcel just on the end here in Diamond City. And then the last one is just by McCain's. Which is this parcel in the middle, right here. I believe. Sorry, just let me double check that. Yep.
So, Mr. Chairman, in order for the tax sale to go forward on December 1st, as proposed, we would require that council approve the terms and reserve bid amounts.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Devin. I'd open up to council for any questions or discussion. Lauren and then John.
First question, thank you, Mr. Chair. If they come in and they pay the outstanding balance, they're relieved, but do you get anything back for all the work you've done and put in the meantime?
So we do have the authority to apply all of that to the tax roll, so any advertising costs or some of those other fees will be put onto the tax roll and is included in that. So any costs we have incurred to date have already been applied to the tax roll, and that would the expectation is, yes, that would be covered. We haven't put a 5% administration fee on at this point, to be honest. It kind of seems like adding salt to the wound, but.
Yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
And I would then move the county council approve the reserve bid amounts and conditions for the following roll numbers for the 2023 property tax scheduled to take place December the 1st.
Thank you, Lauren. Lauren has moved the recommendation that County Council approves the reserve bid amounts and conditions for the following roll numbers for the 2023 property tax sale scheduled to take place on December 1st, 2023 at 9 a.m. I did have a couple hands, so I'll go to John and then Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Given that these reserve bases were set by our tax department, and this sale is right around the corner here, what happens if they actually if we don't get bids that meet the reserve?
If the property doesn't meet the reserve, or we don't have anyone come in to purchase, then the county will take title. Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. They're redeemable by the landowner up until the day of the sale, or is there past sale date for like a 30-day or something?
Councilor Van Essen, through the chair, they do have up until, I can't remember the time of sale, but generally noon the day of the sale or a few hours prior to the sale, they can come in and pay off the taxes. I mean, we would probably go right, if they came in 5 minutes before, I don't think we would turn them away, but.
Secondly, we've seen this a little bit on our tax waiver requests. Has there been direct contact with the landowner, more than a letter that has not been returned by Canada Post?
I don't even know if any have been returned by Canada Post. I'm not sure.
No, but sometimes on our tax
Oh,
roll,
I
we
understand,
assume
sorry.
they've gotten them if they're not returned. Has there been a conscious effort?
I can't say for sure that Kennedy or Les have spoken to them directly, but I can find out.
Okay.
I would just,
Is it
I
fair
know,
to ask
sorry,
for that?
Mr. Van Ness, and I will add, I do know that the assessor was, one in particular property that didn't have a mortgage was looking to contact the family. So I do know on one property in particular where there was no mortgage.
Okay.
But I don't know if he did reach anybody.
And finally, the reserve bid, is that just off of our assessed value from taxes?
So my understanding is the reserve bid is based more so on market value than assessment.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Klaus?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, one question. First is, are there any dwellings on this place? Because I didn't have it on my thing, because I guess it got sent later, this one. But anyway, are there dwellings on there? Or, and the other one is, how long have they been in arrears?
Councillor Van Essen, through the chair, yes, I believe there are dwellings on 3 of the 4. I think the one is there a dwelling on that one?
There was on this one, yeah, it would appear there's.
Yeah, sorry, on all of them, yes, there are dwellings.
Except for the Diamond City parcel,
Is vacant?
I believe so.
Okay, so 3 of the 4 do have dwellings. And they are in arrears, so they don't get put on tax notification with land titles until they are 2 years in arrears. And then following tax notification, they have another year before we take it for sale.
Thank you, Jen. Is there any further discussion? If not, Lauren has moved the recommendation that County Council approves the reserve bid amounts and conditions for the following roll numbers for the 2023 property tax sale scheduled to take place on December 1st, 2023 at 9 a.m. Rolls 598-00300, 4222-0000, 386-8000, 702-0200. Any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That's carried. Thank you,
Thank
Jen.
you.
Thank you, Devin. We can move down into E, correspondence. Number 1, Lethbridge and District invitation to Glow Lethbridge sneak peek. So all of council would have received an invitation. You and a guest are invited to Glow Lethbridge sneak peek. Wednesday, November 22nd, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center with a request to RSVP by November 17th. And this year's highlights, journey through 6 different countries featuring light-up landmarks like London's Tower Bridge, Taj Mahal, and Eiffel Tower, just to name a few. Festive live performances, delicious holiday treats, light-up play areas and swings, free visits, and photo opportunities planned, and so much more. So that has been, like I said, if you are interested in that, you can let Candace know, and she would RSVP for you and a guest. That's our first item of correspondence. And our second item, under E2, Lethbridge 2 and Lethbridge 3 solar projects, newsletter number 2. So as of last week, we were in receipt of this, and maybe I will throw to Hillary. Hillary, if you would maybe want to touch on this. I believe you have some familiarity with what's in front of us here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I've been in contact with this particular group a number of times with regards to this particular solar project in the county. So in the newsletter, you can obviously see where it is. It's to the south and west of the airport. And it's quite an extensive project that they are proposing in terms of the land size. It is all on dry land farming, from what I can tell from our imagery and from what I know of that particular area. The reason this area has come up as an opportunity for this particular group is because there is a substation relatively close by that has capacity for us to have a solar project tied to it. In the last discussion I had with them, which was late last week, they did confirm the date for their open house, which isn't in the newsletter, it just says December. So the date of their open house, and they are going to be sending out notices which will be circulated to us, and then Candace can circulate it to council, will be December the 4th. I do believe the time will be from 5 till 9 p.m. They haven't confirmed the location. It'll probably be either in a hotel in the south of Lethbridge, or I did recommend that they could possibly look at McNally Community Center as another opportunity if they want to be in the county. With that, they did, you'll notice it says Lethbridge 2 and 3. Lethbridge 1 is actually in the city of Lethbridge. It's a very small project that's just off of Highway 3 on the west side of Lethbridge. It's a really kind of triangular, odd-shaped piece. You may have noticed maybe there's some groundwork's been going on there. So that's actually their first solar project, which got approved a couple of years ago, and I think they're I don't think they've quite finished it yet, but I think they're anticipating finishing it in 6 months or so. Yes.
Is that pie shape? Yeah, there's nothing on that at all yet.
Yeah, I think they're just done their site grading, as far as I can tell. But they were planning on putting up their actual panels. I don't know if they'll make it before the winter, since winter's already here, but I'm assuming in the spring. So that's the same company. They're a company to their, from what they say, they don't just start the project and then sell it off to somebody. They are invested in this, and they keep the projects going on under their own name. They're invested in wanting to be in the community and engage with the community. So that's some of the information that I can provide, other than really they have a lot of their information in their newsletter. But if there's any other questions that you have just from a planning perspective or development perspective, I'm happy to answer any.
Hillary, with that, I think one of the questions that's often posed to council through the pause and all that, could you just give like kind of a very Coles Notes version of how the process goes as far as the application and the role the county plays in that?
It's always been a bit complicated. So right now, even though there is the AUC pause on approvals, applicants can still submit their applications to the Alberta Utilities Commission for consideration. So they haven't submitted anything to the Alberta Utilities Commission yet. This group hasn't with this particular application. They did want to do their due diligence in terms of talking to landowners and the county and any other interested parties with regards to this project first. And so that's why they're going through these steps, and that's what I've recommended to them over the last year, I'd say, that I've been talking to them. They don't have to get county approval on the project before they go to the AUC. For their application, they can do it in tandem. So that's typically what we've seen with solar projects and wind projects, for that matter, is that the applicants will do some consultation with the municipality, maybe do their open house, do their stakeholder consultation, and then they'll apply to the Alberta Utilities Commission to get their approval, and then come back for the county's approval, like through the development permit or the rezoning process. This one doesn't appear to be any different in how they're handling that. They just are a little bit more upfront in terms of their communication with the county. So that's kind of what the process that I see. They're still carrying on with that same process that's been historically been done with the Alberta Utilities Commission.
And then the process at the municipal level at the county, that would be an application to rezone to a direct control?
That's correct.
And what does that process look like, just, again, Hillary, just for the public?
Sure. So the rezoning process would be they would have to submit an application that that would get circulated to, once again, the adjacent landowners. It gets advertised. We have a public hearing of which county council can consider the application, ask any questions, allow the public that ability to have some input into that process. So a level of transparency in terms of engaging the public in a more local base rather than how the Alberta Utilities Commission does. their public consultation. If they have received approval already from the Alberta Utilities Commission, the county would be bound to approve the project, or the rezoning, I should say, because the Alberta Utility Commission has higher standing than the county because of where it sits in the province. But notwithstanding that, there is still some input that we can take in terms of the development permitting process from the rezoning. So in terms of making sure that we have the appropriate erosion control, weed control, road use agreements in place. Those are all things that can come up through that public process in terms of making sure that people are aware of what the county can do in terms of mitigating any negative impacts to a potential project happening in the county. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Hillary. I would open up for council. Is there any questions of Hillary at this time? Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Hillary, I've had some people come to me and express concerns over this project simply from a wildlife perspective.
Mm-hmm.
They figure that it's going to disrupt the corridor that the deer and the, I don't know, whoever else they mentioned to me, I can't remember, travel through there. And they want to know what they can do and how they should go about putting in an objection. So at a public open house from the county, or go to the open house they're having, or just a simple question for them.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Hickey, through the chair. So with regards to any concerns, I would say the first and best place would be to bring that up at the open house that's being held by the applicant. They are required, regardless of anything that's going on today, they are required to do wildlife studies in areas to see, like, are there animals migrating through? Is it a wildlife corridor? What's the general geography of the land? So they do look at those things. So I know, the dealing with the ungulates that travel through the area, that's part of it, because it is close to the St. Mary's River and the Cooley system there. That would be one of their studies. I know in their newsletter they did speak to that study being done. But they would have experts on hand to explain how they're going to mitigate any concerns with regards to that. Because as you know, typically solar facilities are fenced all the way around. There's the only creatures getting in are snakes and gophers. So that's something that they would have to address at that opportunity. Also, they would have another opportunity at our rezoning phase for that public hearing to express concerns on that. What we can do about it is probably a lot less than, say, what could happen, say, at the Alberta Utilities Commission level, where they might have specific conditions because they have environmental specialists that can answer questions on how to mitigate. But those are the opportunities for comment. So there would be the open house by the applicant, our rezoning process, and then also open comments to the Alberta Utilities Commission also, where anybody can submit comments. It's a bit of a, in my opinion, a bit of a clunky system to get through, but typically they have some staff, their staff can help people get through that process in terms of providing comments and concerns.
Thanks, Hillary. Any other questions? Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This Lethbridge 2 and 3 proposed project, I'm just looking at where it's located at, and I believe I know the answer to this, but we're just looking for a little clarification. The potential of the city annexing the airport, that wouldn't go down as far into this project, would it?
Thank you, Councillor Kurbis. Through the chair, no, this particular area I don't think would be on the radar for any growth of the city. It's pretty far south and out of it's not within our intermunicipal plan area. The plan area ends, as you were, if you can notice that color, that beige color, anywhere south of there isn't included in their plan. So yeah, so that would kind of exclude this area. And even if it were on the radar, I mean, many decades down the road.
Thanks, Hillary. Go ahead, Klaus.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the moratorium that the province has put on the wind and solar, does that affect like us moving ahead with something like this?
For the through the chair to Councillor Vanderveen, we're not quite sure how things are going to roll out with regards to the studies or the information that the AUC is requesting and how it's going to pan out at the end of the day. So when the moratorium is done at the end of February, I don't think there's not a lot of clarity on what is going to happen and how will it benefit or how will it impact a municipality or even a landowner. I would say that we carry on with what, you know, our process is and what our bylaws and our policies say, and then hopefully there'll be a lot of discourse between the two about how they're going to work with municipalities on these types of projects. But until that arrives, I think we're kind of in a holding pattern in terms of just moving forward as we see fit. So,
Go ahead, Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not intimately familiar with this project, but I would like to acknowledge or just acknowledge the appreciation that we have for an applicant working with us and respecting our authority as the local land use authority to do the due diligence on the environmental studies, the erosion, all the reclamation plan, all the other concerns that we've articulated, and also seeking out land that doesn't impede our significant investments in irrigation infrastructure and everything else within the county. So again, not necessarily specific that this project does or doesn't, or that we support it holistically. I don't know enough detail, but I do want to acknowledge that these are the concerns we've brought forward, and the fact that they've been working with Hillary in development and planning to move this forward prior to going to the AUC. We very much appreciate that, and I just wanted to note that for council. So.
Thanks, Cole. Anything else on that one? If not, thank you very much, Hillary. Kind of put you on the spot there. Thank you.
that's all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Move down, item F, county. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering whether there's any actionable items on that correspondence in terms of, attendance for either one of those.
CAO back. I would defer to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to Reeve Curbis, or Deputy Reeve Curbis. Yeah, if you are interested in attending the Glow Lethbridge Sneak Peek, please let Candace know, ideally today. Tomorrow is the deadline, but by tomorrow at the very latest, so that she can get that in. Beyond that, I think once we have more information, we can include the open house. If you wish to attend that, we would just leave that as a public forum open house. If you wish to attend that I would leave that to your own prerogative.
Okay, thank you. County council and committee updates. We have our council attendance for October 2023. Why don't we start in Division 1 with Councillor Lauren Hickey. Lauren?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So attended the FCSS meeting on October the 4th. At that time, they have decided not to increase their requisition for the next year's allocations. They will remain at the same 0 line. Have pretty mixed feelings about that. They're running a pretty tight budget, so we'll have to see how they can make it through that. And I think other than that, I attended a few things. Green Acres is just coming up with their budget. I suspect probably about a 5% increase, but could be a little less than that, but hard to say just as yet. The biggest thing there is during COVID, the Alberta government paid all the staff an extra $2 an hour bonus, and that is coming to an end as of end of this month, I believe. Whether or not the government will continue on with that $2 or not, because it'd be pretty difficult right now to take $2 off of every staff member, especially after it's been in place for almost 4 years now. So that could be something that comes to light in the budget process, because with the number of staff they have, that is a fairly large number. Anyway, other than that, if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Thanks, Lauren. Any questions for Lauren? If not, I can give my October attendance. Couple of highlights from that. October 6th, Mayors and Reeves. The October 6th meeting predates the change, but I will acknowledge the change. I want to send a big thank you out to former Reeve of the MD of Taber, Merrill Harris. Merrill has been the chair of Mayors and Reeves for the past 2 years. Just want to thank Merrill for everything that he did for that group. Obviously, when people move chairs, there's a lot of change around, and I thought Merrill did a great job of coming in and just stabilizing things. And I want to thank him for his contributions to the group and wish him all the best moving forward. And also with that, I want to congratulate the County of Warner-Reeve, Randy Taylor. Randy was appointed to be the chair of our Southwest Mayors and Reeves group moving forward. So I just want to thank Randy for letting his name stand, and again for doing that for all of us. We're currently working through our terms of reference and trying to establish terms of reference, which we hope to accomplish at our December meeting. So hopefully we have maybe tighten things up a little bit, and I think there's a ton of potential for that group to serve as a lobbying voice, and to really work together to accomplish some things. So I'm glad to see we're getting some traction there. October 11th, met with the city and their IDP committee. It was good to again meet with them, and I think there's an appetite from both sides of the street to work together. It's just a matter of just bringing that to reality and making sure that we're doing what we say, and trying to build those relationships and find ways to do things that are meaningful to both municipalities, and they can benefit both of our ratepayers, our businesses, and everyone that resides within our municipalities. On the 17th, I want to thank Devin, Jeremy, and all the council staff that put together the county road tour. Thank you to Southland Trailer for hosting us, as well as Little Gem Winery. It's really nice to get out and see those local businesses and see what they're doing in our community, and the great strides they're taking. That it means something to the county, and it means something to our ratepayers. So a big thank you to them for having us that day. Tax assessment workshop, the Lethbridge County organizational meeting. Maybe the last one, October 20th, the Perry Family Scholarship Dinner. Cole and I attended the Perry Scholarship Dinner. So, sorry, I have a note here. Hosted by the Dillon School of Business, honoring the Perry family farm. Through the scholarship dinner, the cause was able to raise $65,000, which was matched by the U of L Board of Governors, totaling $130,000. The funds will go towards scholarships for the Dillon School of Business students in the name of the Perry family. So just acknowledging the Perry family. I know that their home base is just across the line in the MD of Tabor, but some proud Lethbridge County residents and Lethbridge County landowners, and I think that you can't say enough about the contribution that family's made to the MD of Tabor and and Lethbridge County, as well as the town of Coaldale and all the surrounding municipalities. True philanthropists, very forward-thinking family, and just acknowledge the university for having these scholarships, having these opportunities, and trying to create more opportunities to keep people at home here in southern Alberta learning and growing that agricultural knowledge base. So just thank you for the invite to that, and it was nice to attend. I don't have anything further to add. I would throw to Division 3, Councillor Mark Sayers.
Thank you, Tori. Short slate for me is the Lethbridge Council meeting. The road tour, I really enjoyed that. Just to repeat what Tori had said, it's always good to get out and see some of the local businesses in our county, and I said look forward to that every year. Trying to do more. It'd be nice to do it. We could do a road tour of a lot of the businesses and put half a dozen or more together. So thanks to the staff for putting that together. It's always a lot of fun. So and just getting to see the faces. A lot of this comes through across our table and some of the meetings we deal with. So it was nice to put some names to their faces to the names. So we enjoyed that. So thanks again to the staff. Tax assessment workshop. That's always helpful for for first term counselors to go through that process and ask questions. And then it was just the 2 meetings at the end. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would first off echo the prior comments regarding the council road tour. That is that's a good thing for us to participate in, and it's nice to see some of the successes within the county. And to build a little bit on Reeve Campbell's comments regarding the IDP meeting with the city of Lethbridge. I, for one, very much appreciate the interaction that we have with our large urbans and our small urbans, and I think that those meetings are extraordinarily important and allows us to find some common ground and work out some mutual issues that we have and work together to find solutions that work for everybody. You know, using the expression that, you know, rising tide floats all boats, and I think that's an extraordinarily important thing. And other than that, my normal Community Futures weekly meetings with the Executive Director, as well as our monthly meeting with Community Futures. And we had an Agriculture Services Board meeting, which was quite valuable in terms of there was good discussion about weed control and you know, just weed identification. So that's very much appreciated. I will pass it along.
Thanks, John. Congratulations as well for assuming the chair role at Community Futures. Division 5, Councillor Eric Van Essen. Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One date I forgot to add was Picture Butte Chamber of Commerce. That was on the first Thursday of the month, and for the rest attended 6 council-related activities.
Thanks, Eric. Division 6, Councillor Klaas Vanderveen. Klaas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, we got, I guess, had the Link Pathway meeting, and then we had the AGM, and later on I couldn't make that one. We got one in the beginning of December again, and hopefully we get some good news. Apparently they are working right now on the pathway, the first phase. And then, like everybody said, the road tour was very, very good. It was very informative. Then we had I had the Agriculture Service Board meeting in Oyen, and we had a couple of speakers there, and it was very interesting to hear that these people in that area, the population of that area, if I'm not mistaken, as they said, they had around 20,000 people in that area way back, and I find it hard to believe. But now it's only a couple of thousand that's left there. And everybody moved out of that area because of the drought, and I guess they had some coal and everything in the area. But now they're still always looking at, and they're looking at that for just about 20 years already, and they really have their hopes high that they're going to get some irrigation there yet. And either they're going to pump it out of the Red Deer River, or they're going to get it out of the South Saskatchewan. And the person that gave the presentation there, it seemed like they were going to have that in a short while. They were going to have that. And looking at the drought that we had this year, I don't know if anybody's going to let them pump out of any water base or whatever. But anyway, that was interesting to hear that story. And on a positive note, of course, that they're really hopeful to get something going there, that they can grow the area. And it was quite going into that area. It was quite the experience. Going down there, you don't see a whole lot, except you know, you don't understand those gophers. But I mean, how do they get killed on a road where there's no traffic? And,
Suicide.
so and that, yeah, and then of course you had the rest. No, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Klaas. Division 7, Councillor Morris Eenstra.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the 5th council meeting, on the 17th council road tour, and I really enjoyed that road tour. And I would like to see some emphasis maybe put towards few more road tours a year. We don't need to wine and dine. You can just make it a tour to attend certain areas what needs to be looked at. And if we get that several times more during the year and just have a day doing that, I think that would be really big benefit to the council. Tax assessment workshop on the 18th and the 19th at Wisconsin organization meeting, and October the 19th at Wisconsin meeting.
Thank you, Morris. With that brings us to the end of our public portion of the agenda. We have one closed session item, G1, Eastern Transmission Pipeline Project Update, FOIP Section 16, Disclosure Harmful to Business Interests of a Third Party, and FOIP Section 25, Disclosure Harmful to Economic and Other Interests of a Public Body. Can I have a motion to go into a closed session? Lauren?
I would move to go and enter a closed session for the above mentioned.
Okay. Thanks, Lauren. Lauren has moved to enter a closed session for item 1, Eastern Transmission Pipeline Project Update. Is there any further discussion? I'll call for the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. morning. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Whenever you're ready, Candace. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to the end of our agenda for today. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. Thank you to staff. Thank you to council. Thank you to our 2 staff members, Kira and Heath, for joining us this morning. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Morris. Morris's motion to adjourn the meeting at 10:45 this morning. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.